Did you know Linda and Rick are behind you? Yeah.
Currently, we saw massive.
Good evening. Please join me for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. I would like to call up Chief Howell, please. We have Daniel Horn, is that how you say it? To swear in our new officer.
Thank you.
Such an awesome thing.
Tonight I have the honor and privilege to introduce one of our new officers, Daniel Horn. Usually I don't have to write a bunch of notes, but his resume was so impressive. I didn't want him employed with Chesterfield Township as a patrolman from February of 2021, May of 2025. One of these guys that when we start doing backgrounds on people and start making phone calls and inquiring about them, I have some friends in Chesterfield Township PD, and I reached out there probably a little premature and to inquire about him, and right away they were like disappointed. So when you get the disappointed, that's always a good sign. When they're happy, then you're like, oh, we might want to go back to the drawing board. But
Makes sense.
Officer Horn, fantastic background. His training is impeccable. You know, in his law enforcement career, he attended several leadership training courses, including field training instructor. He is an instructor in the pistol, rifle, shotgun, simunition FX, handgun red dot, Alice, defense tactics. He's attended the Marine Academy, the Special Response Team sniper training, and combat readiness training in Fort Custer. Again, just incredible. These are the kinds of guys and girls that we're looking for. And that's a credit to our lateral hiring. We're able to cherry pick some really, really good people from other police departments. It's sad that we have to do that, but that's what we have to do. He's here today with his wife, Stephanie, and his two kids, Logan and Barrett. Stephanie, if you want to come on up. We're going to read the oath of ethics, and then Stephanie's going to go ahead and pin him. So come on over here. Just repeat after me and raise your right hand. On my honor, I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my character, or my public trust.
or my public trust.
I will always have the courage
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others
to hold myself and others
accountable for our actions.
accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution
I will always uphold the Constitution
and the community I serve.
and the community I serve.
Congratulations. Honored to have you here.
I'll be here.
Thank you for allowing us to do this. Actually, Officer Horn started May 5th, which happened to be our first commission night. And so this was the soonest we could get him in. But he's doing great. We're excited to have him. We look forward to having him for the next 25 years, hopefully longer.
90.
Welcome to the city of Lapeer. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. All right, next, I would like approval of tonight's agenda.
Madam Mayor, I move to approve, I move to approve tonight's agenda.
And is there support? Support. Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Glissman and supported by Commissioner Swindell. Is there discussion regarding tonight's agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
opposed? Sorry, I'll take them. Opposed, say no. That motion's carried. Okay. Now for the minutes.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner
Make a
Swindell.
motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of May 5th, 2025.
Support.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Glissman. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. That motion is carried. Okay, under public comments, we have our Lapeer County Commissioner, Brad Hagedorn, here tonight. Please come up.
Greetings, sorry I missed the last month, I was out of state, but it is nice to be back with you tonight. I have 3 things that we did at our Committee of the Whole meeting. We made a payment to Motorola for body cams and storage of body cam data for $10,725. Our prosecuting attorney uses Carpel for case management. We made a payment to Carpel for $19,875. And we also made our annual renewal for the BSNA services software for the treasurer's office to the tune of $3,570.58. Other than that, it is very quiet at the county, which is good for us. And I hope that you all see the work that's being done at the historic courthouse. We've finally broken ground to save that historic building. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would like to call up Jim Alt, if you would just give us a rundown on the DDA.
Absolutely. Good
Proposal.
afternoon, everybody. James Alt with the DDA. Reason I'm here today is you guys will see in your packet and on the agenda, DDA is requesting a public hearing at the June meeting for the renewal of our development and TIF plan. DDA's by law, when it comes to the renewal process, do have to have that public hearing. In addition to that, we'll have notices 2 times in the newspaper. We also have to post it at 20 locations minimum throughout the downtown. And that has to have a 20-day notice as well. Thus, the reason for our request today is because there is some timing that plays into that over the course of the next couple months. The DDA has been working hard on this the last year or so to get everything in place. It is a renewal, and it's meant to be a guiding document for the next 10 years, but also not set in stone. There's room to breathe and grow, and of course, continue to move our downtown forward, which we're looking forward to doing with all of you at the City Commission. Besides that, I also wanted to give everybody just a quick update. I had a good conversation with a company called Placer AI. They helped me with some of my visitor data from the downtown. Last week, we had Ladies Night Out, which brought over 500 people to the downtown area. It was the busiest Ladies Night Out that we've had as far as our spring ones go since we've started them. So it was great to see that. And the car cruise and food truck event last week brought over 2,300 people to the downtown. So it was a great combination in perfect weather as well to build on to that. So with that, I think you all have copies of the plan. But if you need a copy, let me know I have them. Or if you have any questions between now and that meeting, also feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to discuss any of those with you. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, now for the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, we still have to open up to the rest of the public.
Yes. Is there a public comment? Mr. Wise.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Greg Wise from Metamora Township. Although I've worked in the city of Lapeer for over 40 years of my professional life, this is the very first time I've been to a city commission meeting. And I'm here for one reason, and that's to help to honor Sergeant Charles Bonesteel on his upcoming retirement. As magistrate, Sergeant Bonesteel appeared in front of me hundreds of times, whether it was over traffic tickets that he had issued or swearing out arrest warrants or search warrants. He was always well prepared, thorough, and his testimony was always filled with integrity. The citizens of the city of Lapeer are going to miss an outstanding police officer, although after almost 34 years of protecting and serving those citizens, he certainly is entitled to his retirement.
Yes.
Personally, I want to wish Chuck and his bride Michelle many years of enjoyment in his retirement. Thank you for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a public comment?
Hello, my name is Jacob Leroy. I live in Mayfield Township. I have not been able to make these past several meetings due to my work schedule, so it's not because I didn't like seeing everyone here. But I do have a couple things I'd like to talk to you about tonight, mostly related to the proposed budget for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. I understand there's been a purchase, or at least approval for license plate cameras. I think that's a terrible idea. I don't want my data going into a database. What happens when that database gets breached or other things, and now you might say, oh well, it's just going to check for stolen cars, but now we have this stem of a system that can be expanded upon until it keeps growing and growing and growing. So that's my opinion on that. I also understand that there is approval for a study to put in a crosswalk around or on M21 around Crampton Park. I think that's a waste of money. I don't think it'll be utilized. I think it will create traffic problems on that busy road. And I think the money could be better spent on fixing that road instead. Next would be in the budget, I understand that there might be, the city might operate on a loss. I think that's quite frankly ridiculous. I think that's bad fiscal planning, and it might set us up for some bad times in the future should things not turn out how we quite expect them. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Okay, see no more. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Stephanie.
My name is Stephanie Hamilton. I'm from Lapeer Township. I just kind of want to echo what Jacob was saying. I don't think that the cameras are a good idea. I don't really find them necessary at all. I also, with some of the road conditions the way they are in parts of the city, I also don't understand why the money would be spent to make a crosswalk versus repairing some of the roads and the conditions of some of the roads that are already there. So I just wanted to second that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Now, oh, sure, please.
I just want to open in prayer, and I was asked by somebody once, why do you pray here? And I can't really give specifics other than I've seen what the power of prayer does. And so I know that I am made of flesh and bone, and I don't have the wisdom that I need to make all the decisions that need to be made for our city. And so, like Proverbs says, for the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. And so that's why I open in prayer, because I know I need it, and I'm asking for it for all of us that are making decisions. So, dear Heavenly Father, I ask for your Holy Spirit to fill this room. Lord, thank you for each person here. Thank you for each desire that they have. Lord, you know their concerns. I pray that you would enter each heart. Give them comfort if that's what they need. Give them reassurance if that's what they need. Give them joy if that's what they need. I pray, Lord, for wisdom for each of us here tonight, making decisions that affect all the people that live in the city and around our city, that use our city, that love our city. Thank you for all that you do for our city. Thank you for your hand of protection and the people that you provide that protect our city. Pray that you'd continue with your hand on us, that you'd give us everything we need to make the decisions that are within your will. I pray all these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Okay, now for the consent agenda. Motion. Commissioner Brady.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for May 19th, 2025.
Support.
Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Brady and supported by Commissioner Swindell. All those in favor say yeah. That are in favor say yes.
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 Opposed say no. That motion's carried.
Is there any discussion?
No.
Because there's a date in there that I don't think they'll be there.
What are you
July
referring to?
25th is sidewalk days, so I wondered how we're gonna work that, because I think Jim is having sidewalk days on July 25th.
That's special event DDA sidewalk sales. That's part of,
Well, bike
DDA.
night will be starting before they're over, that's why I wondered if we've thought about it or worked it out.
Do you want me to comment on that?
I'm asking for.
So we actually are hoping that the two play off of each other. I know one of the challenges with Bike Night in the past has been the complaint that it doesn't always result in retail sales. So we're hoping that this kind of contributes to that. Sidewalk sales will wrap up about 5 or 6 o'clock. Bike Night will still be early on in the night. So there won't be too much of an overlap, but we hope that it does kind of support one another.
Thank you.
okay, the bill listing.
Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve the bill listing for May 19th, 2025 in the amount of $475,835.36.
Support.
Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Glissman. Is there discussion regarding the bill listing? Okay, seeing none, hearing none. Roll call vote on that, please. Ramona.
Commissioner Atwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Glissman?
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie?
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. Okay, now. My honor to be able to read this proclamation for Sergeant Charles Bonestill in recognition of Charles Bonestill. Whereas Charles Bonestill officially began his career with the City of Lapeer Police Department on July 11th, 1991 as a police reserve officer, he rose through the ranks to be promoted to patrolman in 1993 and patrolman 1 in 1998, and then promoted to police sergeant in 2002, promoted to sergeant 2 in 2008, and was again promoted to sergeant 3 in 2015. And whereas Sergeant Bonestill, while performing his duties serving the citizens of the City of Lapeer, has received the Lapeer City Police Award of Merit in 2019, the Lapeer City Police Department Officer of the Year in 2024, as well as the letters of thank you and of appreciation for his efforts, all while safeguarding the life and the innocent in the City of Lapeer. And whereas Sergeant Bonestill has devoted his time and effort to training and education, which includes emergency management, National Fire Academy, Police Update 3, EBO, Basic DAC, and many other in-service training sessions. And whereas Sergeant Bonestill has brought a vast range of skills and expertise in the aspects of police administration and a wealth of experience from proudly serving this community for over 32 years. And whereas Sergeant Bonestill will retire on May 29th, 2025, and after having given conscientious, responsible, and professional service to the citizens of the City of Lapeer, and leaves those in the City of Lapeer proud to have known him and to have served with him. Therefore, let it be known that I, Debbie Marcourt, and the Lapeer City Commission wish to honor and express deep appreciation to Charles Bonestill for his efforts and devotion to public service, and wish him continued success in his retirement. And this is dated today, May 19th, 2025. I will ask for the motion.
Madam Mayor, I will make a motion to adopt the proclamation in recognition of Sergeant Charles Bonestill as presented.
Support.
Okay. Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Glissman. Discussion.
Bravo.
Yeah, bravo, thank you. I know it's okay.
That's a long time.
Okay, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say, okay, yes. Could you come up here, please?
Let me take one more with the flash. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Maybe.
You don't retire.
Great. Well, now that puts us to the public hearing for our 25-26 budget. And you had those documentations for a while now. And is there a motion?
You gotta open.
Now I gotta open that, that's right. Okay. Public hearing is now open. Is there any comments from, additional comments from anyone in the audience? Okay, hearing none, then I'm gonna close the public hearing. Now, I'm asking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget resolution for the city of Lapeer for the fiscal year of 2025 and 2026, make appropriations therefore, and the first year of the proposed capital improvement program, fiscal years 25, 26 through fiscal years 2030 to 2031.
Support.
Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Atwood. Is there discussion? Okay.
Madam Mayor.
Commissioner Brady.
I have some things that I would just like to encourage, and I don't know if there will be consensus from the commission to give any direction to our manager in the future. I would like to see some long-term financial planning with the TIFA. We seem to be really reliant on the TIFAs, and that would be something that I think, seeing that they're set to sunset in 2032 and 2028, that we really need to get on top of a plan, whether it's how to gracefully sunset the TIFAs or how to purposefully extend the TIFAs. I think we really need to think about giving formal direction to our manager to start that process, working with Sam Moore and the LDC. I'm a little disappointed that we don't have our special assessment policy like fully buttoned up, but I know that's going to affect this budget, and so I guess also encourage us to continue to work on that special assessment budget and special assessment policy and get it really buttoned down soon. You guys know how I feel about the Parks Department. I love the parks. I just don't know how we're going to continue to fund them, and adding a department, a full-time position in the recreation department, without trying to pay for it in any new way, in a department where we already have, we're already helping that department just so much. I would think that we need to start creatively thinking about how we can really take care of our Parks Department without being so general fund and TIFA fund heavy in the future. And then I'm just going to say it again, we have a master plan that is due, and it's supposed to be ready, coming through the 2026 year, and I seem to be, well, Mr. Atwood was talking about it, but I just want to continue to remind everybody that we have a master plan that we're required to keep up every 5 years. And I don't see, not that that necessarily needs to be budgeted for. I don't know. I've never been a part of the master plan process, but if there's any extra money that needed to be spent to get that accomplished, this is the time to put that money down, I guess. I think that's my piece for tonight.
Okay. Thank you for your comments. Any other commissioners? All right.
Could you
Is
could you
that-
clarify the deficit spending verbiage?
Sure. So I don't know if I was misquoted or I accidentally gave a quote using the word deficit, but I was corrected very gently today that deficit has a very specific legal meaning. I'm quoting now from the Uniform Budgeting and Accounting Act of 1968, 141.422B, subpart H4, for anybody who wants to look it up. Deficit means an excess of liabilities and reserves of a fund over its assets, which technically is not true in this situation. We do have a balanced budget for anybody who is a finance walk-in nerd, because it is balanced if you are using your reserves, which we are in this case, which is fund balance. Totally normal, not a deficit, and that was my mistake for using that word.
Any other comments from the commission? Okay. Well, then it's roll call vote.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
No.
Commissioner Swindell,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
That motion's carried. Next would be the 25-26 Downtown Development Authority operating budget.
No.
No?
Fee schedule.
Fee schedule.
Fee schedule. G1. Yeah, that is the budget. Enough. Okay,
You have me.
Commissioner Swindell.
I'll make a motion to adopt the City of Lapeer fee schedule effective July 1st, 2025 as presented.
Support? Is there support? Okay, motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Petrie. Is there discussion on the fee schedule? Commissioner Brady?
Adding the full-time rec position is actually going to cost about $51,000 a year when you add in the benefits that go along with it. And there was a slight increase in the amount that we're charging for youth programs. I could be bad at math, but the way that I was trying to figure it today, it would cost something, if we were to say like, non-city residents need to pay in order to bring our spending up to the amount that, to the amount that we're actually spending on, say, like the soccer program. If you go to the soccer fields, a lot of the kids there, I'm talking 70 to 80% of the kids there are not city resident kids. It's a great magnet. We draw a lot of people in. But everybody pays $55. City kids pay $55. County kids pay $55. If you were to try to balance the amount, they'd have to pay something like $200 to make up for what we're spending. I just feel like it would be appropriate for us to charge $20 more to outside of the city kids. It's really not gonna do what it would need to do to bring the numbers to be equal for our recreation department to actually break even. And maybe that's not the goal. But I also don't see that we have any kind of hard and fast policy that says that we're, what's the limit? How much are we going to spend? I run a church softball league, and we have to break even, because if we don't break even, the league collapses, right? We can't pay for the gas, we can't pay for those things. The city doesn't seem to have that problem. We seem to be able to just draw from a large supply of money. I would just remind everybody that, the city folks are already paying taxes for living in the city. They're paying their income taxes. And when county people come in and use the parks, they're not paying the same amount that other people are paying. The city people are paying twice and then getting less for it. So I wish that there was some more to balance that out. I realize that I'm just one crazy guy in the room, but I'm gonna keep saying it until either more people tell me I'm crazy or more people tell me that I'm right. So I guess let me know what your opinions on that are. But it feels to me like in the future, we need to get maybe more equitable, more fair in the way that we're paying for our Parks Department.
If I could respond to that just briefly.
Okay.
So, I tend to agree philosophically with your position. And it's totally normal for non-residents to pay a higher fee compared to the citizens who pay a tax. I would be concerned a little bit about prior agreements that might have existed between either the school district or the townships, which might affect those rates, in particular the 425 agreements that we have. So I'd have to look into that prior to making any kind of changes, but I totally get your point, and I agree with it.
I also have a question for Mr. Vogt. During some of our fire agreements with our townships, is that, and I don't know about the rec part, but is that part of it for our rec center? For like Lapeer Township, or, I think it was at one time, that they would be able to come to the rec for the same fees as the rest of us.
Our agreement for services are unique for each contracted township and do not involve the rec center at all.
Okay, so each one is maybe different.
There is something where Lapeer Township and Oregon Township.
I think so,
folks.
and maybe half of Oregon, yeah. Oregon. So again, it's still contracts in one way, so, but that doesn't mean you can't look at it.
Can we entertain giving our city manager some direction
I was just gonna
to look
say.
into it?
Yeah, so for what it's worth, I don't really need direction. It's certainly something that interests me as well, and I mean, some of the things you brought up previously, looking for my notes here, like the TIFA plans, I mean, we talk about this all the time, we're gonna get into that. Special assessment policy, you and I have been working on that together. So I don't need direction, certainly something I wanna look into myself, I just haven't had the time to yet. Now, just something to be clear, the fee schedule is not something you guys only can do once a year. It's appropriate to do it as part of the budgeting process, but you can theoretically change it at any point. So if we do the research and we find out that there's no reason why we can't change those rates. Now, we've also talked about other changes that we'd like to make over at the Parks Department, which we can do mid-year as well. Just not something we've accomplished yet. So certainly open to it in the future, and I will start looking at those agreements to see if there's anything in there specific to the Parks and Rec Center.
I have a question. When the fees were raised, was there any kind of formula used? Was it a percentage that you wanted to use? What was the rationale behind it, other than the fact that we needed to balance the budget?
I wasn't part of that. Is Mr. Church here?
No, he's not.
No, he's not. Yeah, I don't know if there's a formula. Formulas tend to include hiring a third party, paying them lots of money to come up with something we can come up on our own. I don't know if it was a specific percentage, other than, we're trying to make up the difference, and sometimes you plug in a number and then you see how much money you make. But of course, as you guys know from our budget sessions, the rec center was making a lot more money pre-COVID. Then COVID hit, and they lost something like $700,000 in 1 year. And it's just not sustainable on the number of people who are no longer coming to the recreation center without raising the rates. So I think the raising the rates was probably appropriate, but to Mr. Brady's point, some equity for the people who are already paying taxes here, I think, is entirely appropriate.
That's not unusual with other cities.
Oh, yeah, it's totally normal.
Okay, I think we are ready for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Glistman?
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie?
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell?
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Motion carries. Now, is there discussion on this motion?
I just have one question.
Okay.
For Jim. I was just noticing your $6,500 donation, and you're not expecting that again, and I'm wondering, was it an agreement, or
Right.
Is
If
there
you look at
any way
it,
we could get somebody else to donate?
no, we're still hoping for it. If you look at it, we actually just bumped it up to the top donation line. We had donations on there twice, so it's kind of confusing. Once was for Main Street, once was more for like streetscape projects. We just moved them all to the same line. So we're still hoping to get the same amount, if not more, preferably more. But it's still there, just in a different spot.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Petrie,
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Okay, now for our 2025 and 2026 component unit budget and the 2024-25 amendments.
Madam Mayor, make a motion to adopt the 2025-2026 budgets for the Local Development Finance Authority, Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, Tax Increment Finance Authorities 1, 2, and 3, Tax Increment Finance Authority Trust, Economic Development Corporation, and the current year budget amendments.
Support.
Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Atwood. Is there discussion regarding this motion? Commissioner Brady?
Sorry, it's my favorite topic of the last
Dollars, yes.
week or so. TIFAs have done really, really good things. They put in DeMille Boulevard. They took down the old Oakdale State Home property. They put in improvements to McCormick Drive. They built the rec center. I think that these projects have opened up land, spurred investment, and improved the district. Going forward, I think we need clear economic development plans with measurable goals. Right now, it feels to me like the TIFAs are unfocused, and they're becoming just kind of routine funding sources rather than really strategic, project-oriented. And that is what we need from our TIFAs. TIFA should fund growth that lifts the tax base inside the district that they represent. So seeing that our plans are near expiration, I would think that we would either start to seriously look at how do we sunset these plans well, 2028 for TIFA 2 and 2032 for the other two TIFAs, or really get serious about what projects we want to have happen in an amended plan. I'm just a little frustrated that we have these projects that were planned and did not get accomplished, or some that got accomplished and then kind of passed over, even in the plan. So we really need to put this money to good work if we're gonna call this leveraging tool that we have a success. It's time to have an honest conversation about the future of our TIFAs, and I think we owe it to the public to treat these funds with a purpose and with transparency.
Just have one question for Mr. Womack. Isn't there another fund within the TIFA district that is not assigned to District 1, 2, or 3? There's a fund of
So
some
we have the
sort.
LDFA.
Yeah, what?
That's primarily the John Conley Business Park.
Okay.
And then there's some ancillary funds that you see here, the Finance Authority Trust. Yeah, well, then there's the EDC, but yeah, the Finance Authority Trust and the LDFA are probably the ones you're thinking about.
Yeah.
But if I could just comment on Mr. Brady's comments, I 100% agree with everything he just said. I think it's appropriate time for us to kind of refocus the energy of the TIFAs. They, as you indicated, have done great work for this community, but I think over the last couple of years, they've maybe lost focus a little bit, and I think reviewing their plans and kind of pointing them in the right direction is appropriate. For what it's worth, Ms. Hanna and I, over the last two budget cycles, have done, let's say, a soft version of that, directing our department heads to really get familiar with the TIFA districts that affect their specific departments. Because part of it is, you can't just do all the projects in 1 year, right? You have to focus the energy of my staff and their time and their ability to accomplish the goals that kind of co-align with our goals. So from the perspective of, they have plans, we kind of pick and choose as the years goes on, but which plans kind of incorporate themselves with our plans. But that being said, no, I otherwise 100% agree with you.
Commissioner Atwood.
Do you know if they put, like have a budget for training or something like that?
I don't think so. Now, the planning commission last year instituted a planning budget for training, and I don't think that was ever used. But no, Mr.
I used it.
Did you? Well, thank you.
I did.
But Mr. Moore and I have already talked multiple times about how we want to proceed with training. Because as you guys know from the many appointments you've made over the last year or so, there are several fresh faces on that board. And, you know, kind of the old guard is starting to retire and new people are coming on board. And, you know, everybody needs training, myself included. So I think we're going to develop a plan for how to start training these people. And I don't know if we'll get to it at the joint meeting, but, you know, part of the ongoing discussions with all the boards is about what is your goal, and what are you trying to accomplish with your board each year. So that'll probably be at least the very starting point, and from there on, we'll go over what the law says, and, you know, what are your plans say, and how much money do you bring in, can you accomplish these goals over the next, you said 2032? I mean, you know, in the life of a development plan, that's not that long.
Right.
Especially in TIFA 1 and TIFA 2, which don't bring that much money in. So I think there's gonna be a lot of, I'm not sure this is what they signed up for, but a lot of studying about their plans so that they can really kind of hone their goals for the near future.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of our boards really need to keep a training budget, you know, for further training. It's not like when you step into this, you're perfectly trained in that area, so.
We would have to set some money aside at some point,
Yeah, we certainly do that.
which the commission would have control of, but to make that happen, so there'd have to be
Well spent.
probably,
Money well spent.
you know, an amendment somewhere,
Okay.
if that's the wish of the commission at a later date.
Madam Mayor?
Commissioner Glissman.
I think I'm dovetailing on something that Commissioner Brady spoke about. Sometimes I feel like, I totally trust our directors of each of the departments. And a lot of times I don't know anything about the water treatment center, so I really have to trust that guy. But when it comes to Parks and Rec, that's a little bit different. That's where more people want input. And I just would like to be at a meeting sometime with Director Church and have a little dialogue and see what he's thinking rather than just, let's vote on this. Sometimes I feel like we just get things like Friday night to vote on Monday morning, and there's nobody to talk to over the weekend. And I just would like to have more input from especially that director, and have a dialogue with them. And certainly I understand about open meetings. We could have an open meeting, call it what you like, public meeting, workshop, whatever. But I do think that it would behoove us to have more dialogue along those lines.
Okay.
But are you saying you can't call me on the weekend?
I don't want to. Okay.
We get our agendas Wednesday night though, not Friday night.
No, that's just a couple days. Extra, you know.
They're in our email box on Wednesdays though, not Fridays.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Brady?
Sorry.
Okay.
I just, I think maybe.
You
the sen-
only get two hand, no.
That's true.
Two
The
hands up
sentiment
to
is
the
maybe
table.
more, you know, I'd like to have more input before it comes to a yes or no vote. I've got ideas for the park, you've got ideas for the park. We've got some direction we'd like to give, before it's just saying yes or no to things.
Maybe some special workshops down the road would work well for some of that. I don't know.
Well, so I mean, just in defense of the staff, I mean, you know, we just got done going through multiple budget meetings. We're actually having more meetings now than last year, and then more meetings than the year before that. I believe in transparency and the input of the commission on directing the policy of the boards. And I think we do a better job every year of that. I understand that all this stuff is difficult and complex, and sometimes until you see it at the last second, you're like, oh yeah, I want to change that. But you know, this is part of the reason why we have master plans and rec plans and all those types of things, because we're scheduling 6 years out. So again, always have to have meetings, always happy to sit down with the directors and talk about things, but I think we've had ample opportunity to talk about things. And of course, you guys can stop by my office anytime, call me on the weekend, as much as you may not want to sometimes. Because we really do ultimately want to accomplish the goals of the commission. So if we don't know the goals of the commission, it's hard to accomplish it sometimes.
Well, I think, Madam Mayor, I also think that having the meetings with the director, if there's something that might be controversial, is you need to know why, what they are thinking about that project in order to address the constituents who ask us questions and say, yeah, well, I voted yes. Well, why did you do that? Well, the director thought it was a good idea. Well, why did the director think it was a good idea? I don't know. You know, we have to have more information and know the process that each of the directors or a director got to that conclusion. And I just think it's easier to have one meeting with them on a specific topic or park or whatever it is and have a dialogue than not. Okay, that's just my opinion.
Right. All right, I think we're ready for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Swindell?
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
No.
Commissioner Glistman?
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie?
No.
Motion's carried. Okay, the next one.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve adding the delinquent 2017 special assessments to the 2025 summer tax roll.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Atwood. Is there discussion regarding this one?
Nobody wanted to support this one.
It's only one thing.
Question.
Go ahead.
Filling in potholes and crack seal. Are we making sure that we're gonna do the special assessed, people that are still paying special assessed kind of first? Or,
I don't know if we take special assessments into account when we're doing crack seal. I think we just find where the cracks are and then, seal them.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in regards to where somebody's paying special assessments or not. I think that's just kind of a citywide, all of our roads try the best we can to use crack seal to prevent further maintenance.
Commissioner Petrie.
Mr. Womack, but could we make it a priority, just look over it for people that have already paid, and that way they feel like we're catering to their needs? So is it a big deal to look over that and see, have somebody drive out there and go, yeah, we should on that, they've already paid, let's.
You mean for any of the special assessment project areas?
Well, like what Josh was just saying, I think, could we make that for cracks?
Mr. Atwood, is that what you meant? You want the special assessment project areas to be reviewed first for crack sealing?
no, the ones that are currently paying, the project's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And there was a special assessment imposed.
Yep.
There is now a project area that has a special assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that. I don't think it's gonna change anything, because I'm pretty sure the staff reviews the entire town, but we can prioritize special assessment areas.
I mean, not like the brand new ones, but obviously the ones that need it.
Well, I mean,
15 years, 10 years?
I think.
The ones that are currently.
Yeah, so I guess what I would do is we'd find any project area that's currently paying a special assessment from the last, I don't know when the latest one was, but 10 years ago. Make sure that our guys hit that first, and then they can do the rest of the town afterwards.
Yeah, that's all I was kind of asking.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
It wasn't like back in the 1930s or whatever.
I hope they would paid those off by now.
They may not be. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we're ready for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Atwood?
Yes.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman?
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie?
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell?
Yes.
Motion's carried. Okay, number 5.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner Swindell.
I make a motion to approve the proposal with WSP for a due care plan demolition cost estimate, conceptual rendering for 18 East Nipissing for an amount not to exceed $21,207.70, and authorize the Director of Housing and Neighborhood Development or City Manager to sign the necessary documents.
And is there support?
Support.
Motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Atwood. Is there discussion regarding this one? Commissioner Petrie.
I have several questions / concerns. Denise, first, thanks for all your hard work and all the information that you gave us. I asked Mike earlier some questions, but I wanted to ask Mr. Francis about looking over this contract. And I know that dollar amount isn't huge, but the outcome of it could be huge for our community. And so I'd like Mr. Francis to look over this contract and also ask, we've asked WSP for this. Are we looking for any other engineering company to give us an idea? I mean, this is one person saying this is what we should do. Because of the gravity, in my opinion, of what could be. Not trying to be dramatic, but it's something that we need to be careful of. Are there any other local places, Row, or any of our local places that do the same thing? Or have we looked into that?
We have not looked into that, but we certainly can. This particular company was engaged years ago, I think, to get some, maybe not years ago, but in a couple of years, I think, when this all started, to kind of give an initial engineering basis. So they have already done quite a bit of work. So I think if we were to try to engage a new company, it might, I mean, we certainly can do that, but we might see that it costs more because they may have to go back to the drawing board and start and do that whole process on top of what we're asking right here. And that's, I think, the main reason why we just stuck with WSP, because we already had quite a bit of work done by them. And just, it seemed natural to continue with them for this stage.
If I could expand on that. So WSP was recommended to us by another engineering firm. I can't remember if it was Rowe who recommended them or somebody else, but this is a fairly highly specialized type of work that they're doing, the environmental engineering. So they're actually located out in, I think, Novi, which was definitely not my preference for when I have to drive down there for meetings, but they're good at what they do. You know, and to Ms. Soldensky's point, yes, we certainly could engage another company. I think ASTI is the other one that we've worked with in the past. But like a good engineering firm, they're almost certainly going to want to recreate all the work that was already done by this company, and so it's going to cost us at least double what we've already paid.
One more question. Do we have anything from Eagle from the past, or they just don't ever give us a approved?
You mean specific to this property? Yeah, I don't know if Eagle has weighed in on anything. Obviously, we've done environmental work out there in the past. Now, Eagle, I think, was part of, or at least reviewed, the removal of the chemical holding tank that was out there, right?
Yes, it was my impression they paid for that project, and the last thing that I could see going through the old, kind of the history of the project, was that they basically said, we've gone to an extent where we're done spending money on this project. City of Lapeer, you now have that responsibility to carry on and do it safely. Your responsibility to, you know, notify public and things like that regarding what you plan to do with the property. But they did spend money to get to a certain point in them. But I don't think we've already, I personally spoke to folks at Eagle, some that were already involved in this, and they just said the city has to decide what they want to do when they decide, you know, we're not, I don't know that they're gonna come right out and say, oh, that's a great idea, we approve it. They might say, oh, that's a solid idea, go through the due care process, you know, go through your engineering process, but and even from this WSP's perspective, I don't think we're gonna get a, oh, yay, City of Lapeer, this is exactly what you need to do, and now everything, you know, they're gonna make us go through the stages and prove it, so that's my impression, that we could start and they could say no, but if we involve them early on, which I think is the right thing to do, most likely we'll have their buy-in, so.
Okay.
One more question, Mike, I forgot to ask. Now, they require the due plan. Eagle requires that. That's one of their requirements.
That is my understanding.
But then they won't, they basically, WSP said they won't give us a formal approval of that due care plan. So let's just say we do all of it, we demolish it, and we build whatever we decide to build. Can Eagle then come in and say, we'd like you to do another due care plan, or, I mean?
It probably could. My impression is though, if they're involved along the way, you know, they're gonna know right now, the due care plan is the first thing we're gonna do and present it to Eagle. My expectation is to say, are we in the right direction here? You know, do you need something more from us? Hopefully the response would be, you're traveling the right path, continue on, we get to the next stage of demolition, now we demolish, I'm sure there's permits and everything that need to be, you know, they'll have to go through the proper state permitting process to make sure that we did things properly and safely, and then at that point, I feel like, you know, the permitting process should give us our answer. Yes, they've approved our permits, approved our process, and then moving forward to building on that, I think would be the easiest. You know, once we get to the remediation and we've got a good solid base, then I think going forward to build would be probably the easiest stage of approval.
I believe we're ready for a roll call.
Commissioner Brady,
Yes.
Commissioner Glistman,
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie,
No.
Commissioner Swindell,
Yes.
Commissioner Abt.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Okay, and then the last one under number G is to set a public hearing for the DDA.
Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve setting a public hearing on Monday, June 16th, 2025 at 6:30 PM, or as soon thereafter as may be heard regarding the renewal of the Downtown Development Authority's 10-year development and TIF plan.
I think it's probably best practice to do so.
I would like to call for a support on that.
Support.
So motion was made by Commissioner Swindell and supported by Commissioner Brady. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. Motion's carried. One of these we don't do the second.
I don't remember which one it was.
I can't either.
Always
So
best
that's why I asked.
Best practice to do it.
Yeah, never hurts to do it even if we don't need to. Okay. And now, Mr. Womack, what do you have for us on your city manager's report?
Well, I've now been here for 2 years, and it looks like 11 days today. And it is my annual evaluation day, so I would ask at this time for a motion to go into closed session at the end of this meeting to do a personal review for me, please.
Madam Mayor. Commissioner Petrie.
I make a motion to enter into the closed session.
Motion.
Evaluation.
Thank you. Motion.
At the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Motion has been made by Commissioner Petrie. Is there support? And supported by Commissioner Brady. And this should be a roll call. Please.
Commissioner Glistman.
Yes.
Commissioner Petrie.
Yes.
Commissioner Swindell.
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Brady.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Second thing I just want to bring to you guys' attention is I'm working on a citizen survey. We're going to hopefully send out with the summer tax bill. It's going to be a QR code to an online, I believe, Survey Monkey is the one we're looking at. So people can fill it out and tell us what a wonderful job we're doing. I'm taking questions from the city commission members about what you might like to see asked. I'm trying to develop questions. And then, you know, if you don't want to do it online, you'd have to contact us and we'd send you a paper copy.
Will
So-
that be included?
Yeah, we'll put
Somewhere?
a little thing in there saying,
Okay,
please
good.
contact us for a paper copy. And some tax bills go out, Ms. Hannah, when?
The last week of June.
So last week of
Okay.
June, we'll be sending those out. I did put together a draft ordinance regarding bicycles. This is very much so a draft ordinance at this point. I've given all the commission members a copy of that. So I'd I'd ask for any thoughts, questions, or concerns, so that I can make sure that it meets with what you guys want to see it to look like. And then it'll eventually get to the city attorney's office, and then hopefully become ordinance at some point. And I believe that's all I got for city manager's report. Thank you.
Okay. Our city attorney's report.
Nothing specific tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, under unfinished business, there are no appointments this evening. In your packet was the departmental communications. And now we're at public comments. Would anybody like to make a public comment now?
Siri?
You made my phone go off.
All right. I didn't know I had that power. Anyway, sorry. Is there any public comments? Okay, seeing none, hands up. Then we'll go into closing comments from the commissioners. Commissioner Glissman.
Oh, thank you. Last week was Police Week, and so
Oh.
it's always been a very special week for my family. But I want to wish our entire police department Godspeed on your daily journeys, and thank you for your bravery and service. Hearing tonight about the new officer going through instructor training, my dad was actually instructor for the Detroit Police Department way back a long time ago. So anyway, congratulations to all of our police officers. On May 9th, and Rodney's not here, so this is just a shout out to him. On May 9th, I had the opportunity to join the Daughters of the American Revolution Nipissing chapter at the Lapeer Veterans Memorial Park, along with Mayor Markwart. And Parks and Rec's director, Rodney Church, was there as he was instrumental in helping the women of the DAR with this project. The ladies dedicated a beautiful memorial plaque commemorating the Revolutionary War patriots. There are 4 Revolutionary soldiers buried here in Lapeer County. The DAR has begun celebrating the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America with memorial markers like this across the nation. So thanks be to God for our courageous and dedicated patriots. Let's see. Soon, I hope to introduce to the mayor, manager, and commission, as well as the businesses, organizations, and most importantly, the residents of the city of Lapeer, a plan temporarily called the Lilac Project. I have very informally discussed the Lilac Project with a few people of all walks around the city. So far, everyone has been very enthusiastic. The Lilac Project will be a win-win for the city of Lapeer. Soon I hope to be able to give a short PowerPoint presentation to relate the ideas and projected plans and how it will be a benefit to the city, the businesses, organizations, and people with economic gains for all. Thank you.
Commissioner Brady.
I have no comment now.
Commissioner Petrie.
I wanted to thank all the staff for all your hard work. Denise, talk to you. Jim, thanks for all your hard work. Chief Howe, Kelly, Ramona.
Guys who make the toilets flush?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know it's Ross, but I'm thinking that. I'm sorry, is it John? And Mike.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So thank you for all of your hard work. I appreciate all of it. I just would like to extend my condolences and prayers to Teresa Spencer, who lost her husband. They just had their 50th anniversary on May 3rd, and he passed on May 7th. And so if you would keep her in your prayers, the Nolan family has had a lot of losses, and I know this is huge for Teresa, so if you keep her in your prayers.
Okay, that's it. Commissioner Swindell?
The budget is passed, hooray. Thank all of you in the room and maybe even some that aren't in the room for working so hard and working around all of the things that we're asking of you this budget round. May have been more challenging than ones in the past, and you rose to the challenge, and it's greatly appreciated by all of you and your fearless leader, city manager Womack over here. You got it to the finish line and it's done. Thank you, it's appreciated.
Yeah, I would also like to thank our city staff for all the hard work they do. Also, all of our board members, volunteers, put in a lot of hours in some of these meetings. So they are very important. I missed the last meeting, but I did watch it online while I was eating in Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
I was with the MML staff and the president of the MML tour in the UP, and we stopped at Sault Ste. Marie first, had dinner with their council, and then we went to New Ghani, Houghton, and Bessemer, and then Iron Mountain. And so we met with about, we met with about 50 other elected officials and members of the MML in the UP. So it was great to hear their struggles, triumphs, and victories that they have up there. Specifically Sault Ste. Marie, they've been dealing with the tariff issue because they're neighbors with Canada. So their sister city in Canada has kind of given them a hard time, and it's kind of gone back and forth a little bit. So it's just an interesting dynamic that we don't really think about, being a border city to another country. So it is affecting their economy a little bit up there. Also, I made it back in time for Planning Commission meeting, which was, I was a little bit seasick from the ride back. But, so I was able to make that. So I wasn't skipping out on the meeting on purpose. I tried, but, to make it on Monday, but I just couldn't. I think that's only the second one.
We knew where you are. You were working for the city.
And then we had the Flint Watershed Coalition cleanup. Commissioner Brady was there. Commissioner Swindell was there. We did waterways cleanup around in some parks and even by some gas stations. But one of his sons was there, and both of my daughters were there helping us.
Great.
So
Dumpster that day.
Yep, filled up the dumpster. The one thing in New Ghani, they're doing some amazing work in their downtown area. But what bummed me out is I saw across the street from where we were eating, there was an old theater, and it was condemned. It was breaking my heart, because.
You're not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
with it.
well, I found out in conversation that the city did buy it, and the roof had collapsed, so that's why it was condemned. But the city bought it, and they did get grants to fix it up, so they put a roof on, and they're on their way to get it up and running. So it's just, and they own the building next to them, so they're thinking about doing theater and possibly art gallery as well. So it's, you know, it's interesting to learn again, you know, what other cities are going through, but also, you know, how we're doing with our picks and art gallery and stuff like that. So the theater hopefully will be in better shape next year if I go again. Also, the CEC conference is coming up next week. I do believe there's still time to sign up, right?
Sure,
So
we'll have
hopefully,
to take your money.
yeah. Well, we're not taking your money.
Sorry, MSU will have to take your money.
But I'll be helping out the closing with James. We're on a panel, and also doing a class with the owner of Blend and the owner of Axcadia on how important relationships are and maintaining those and how it spills over into business, economy, all that good stuff. So sign up if you want to come hear me blabble some more, but you also hear from my wife and 2 other business owners and a lot of other cool individuals coming from throughout the state. So it's a good time to connect with others. I hope more elected officials sign up for that. I don't know to date how many have.
We're 100, so.
That's good of you.
We're trying to break the record here, so sign up. 130, I think, would be the record.
133.
133.
Okay,
So-
you guys, sign up.
And I think that's it for me. We can move on.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Womack, do you have anything else for us?
Yeah, a couple of minor things. So normally I come up with a historical event for my friend Ms. Glissman, but this week I'm gonna comment about how many birthdays I had in this month. Had 2 nieces who had a birthday last week. My mom had her birthday last week. My nephew has his birthday next week. And today is the heavenly birthday of my father-in-law. Mr. Ablett, you had to go so far away from us, you had to literally go to the central time zone?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
For those who don't know, the counties that border upon Wisconsin are all in the central time zone, not the eastern time zone. That was interesting when I went up there and did that. And then for those who are friends with my friend Fitz.
It's great going, but not so much coming back.
Yeah. So my friend Fitz is doing well, and he's been offered food and is resting comfortably.
Glad to hear that.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, I have a few local events, quite a few actually, it's summertime. So there's the East Lapeer Farmers Market on Saturdays, that's May through October, at the TSC, 1203 Inlet City Road. Then there's the DDA Lapeer Car Cruise, Mondays, May 5th through September 15th, from 5 to 9, and that's on the Neptune Street down here. Then there's Lapeer Chamber Food Trucks, which will be, the next one will be June 9th, and then July 14th, September 8th, and they're all from 4 to 8 p.m. in City Lot 5 by Choice One. Then there's Historic Farmers Market, Wednesdays and Saturdays, which started May 10th, and that'll go through October 25th, and that's from 9:30 to 3:30. Friday Night Bikes will start May 30th through August 8th, and August 22nd, and that is from 6 to 10. Then there is a Warrior Grip Fitness, Inc., which will hold a Heart Warrior 5K on May 31st at Roden Park, and that starts at 8 a.m. And the Kiwanis Club of Lapeer will host the Kiwanis 5K on June 7th at Roden Park, beginning at 8 a.m. I will also be attending the MSU training on May 28th, 29th? So Thursday, Friday, anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be watching you guys a lot with whatever you're speaking. I did ask Rodney to It's a beautiful plot.
It's
that-
here.
Awesome.
It's here.
Oh, it is here?
It's here. Give me a minute.
Okay.
Oh, it's totally.
Because I asked him to drop it off because it's so beautiful. It was a pleasure attending that event. The DAR did a wonderful job with presentation. The rock, everything is beautiful. And it was very, very organized.
They are very.
Very organized. So it was an honor to speak there, and it was nice that Rodney was there, and we'll see that plaque shortly. We don't receive that very often, so I wanted to show it off to everybody on what our Parks Department does. One of the things that they do.
They loved Rodney.
I know, they did. They came up to me at the beginning and said, what a wonderful, that Mr. Church and his staff had helped them so much. I just hit myself in the face. Anyway, I think it's just wonderful. Okay. I think I've covered everything, so. I guess we can adjourn to, not adjourn the meeting, but we can adjourn into closed session.
Yeah, Mayor, would you entertain a 5-minute recess prior to going to closed session?
4.5.
4.5.
Yes, sure, 5 is fine.
Thank you, ma'am. back in open session. I'm sorry, are we recording?
Yes.
Okay. I'm calling this meeting back to, well, I never adjourned the meeting, but we're back now, we're on closed session.
I guess, Madam Mayor, thank you for completing my review. We did, had a great time. But no, I don't expect any action to be taken at this time, and we can talk about any possible actions at the next meeting.
Can we go back into closed session after the next meeting to
We
deal with
can't,
this?
we can't negotiate in closed session.
We can't talk about it at all in there?
If we want to continue my review in some way, we could, but certainly you have access to the city attorney without my presence, because he worked for the commission. So if you need assistance reviewing anything, you can talk to the city attorney.
Okay, so then when can we bring this up? I can ask Ramona to put it on the agenda, or?
You can do that.
Okay. Just wanted to get my ducks in a row. Okay,
Any other thoughts, questions, or concerns about the review, or?
anybody?
I just want to be clear on this. So at the next meeting, it would be on the agenda, and then we would have to have a motion and a second and decide on, I think there's three recommendations by you?
Yes.
Okay. Clear.
Do we decide on them all together, right?
It's whoever makes the motion can make the decision on how to proceed.
Okay. Commissioner Brady?
Thank you for your service to the city of Lapeer, Mr. Womack.
Thank you.
That was nice. Thank you for your service. All right. I adjourn tonight's meeting. We can all go eat.
Bit of a copycat there, Madam Mayor.
I know.
Also, I don't know.
My brain isn't really working.
I bet it's not.
My brain is on hospital.
Before me in the theater, apparently we
Is
take
your
like a stack of
husband
pens,
still
we just toss it at the wall. and
Sweat.
Yes, he hasn't moved in 6 days.
Um,
Say.